disturb.
हाँ
60 into in the 100
वो सब कर लेंगे वो कामिल साहब को बताएं
divided by
Yeah. Meeting मेरे.
scientific calculator இதே வேல்யூ ஸ்கொயர் ரூட் குள்ளே போட்டு 10 க்கு போட்டு percentage
I am not getting the clear voice, sir. Madam,
when it is the value is not given repeat
यस सर
lot of noise is
ऑडियो
coming.
आ रहा है सिर्फ वीडियो नहीं आ रहा
All of the
मेरे पास में
person.
सिर्फ ऑडियो आ रहा वीडियो नहीं आ रहा कुछ
finish we move on to the next
किसी और के पास से आ रही
my
होगी।
alarm
हाँ
One of
नहीं
the
हो गया
person is speaking.
ओनली ऑडियो इज कमिंग
again some
All the I from you.
सिर्फ ऑडियो आ रहा है मेरे पास में
ऑडियो
कुछ
we
नहीं
move
आ
on
रहा
to the next problem same pattern just
नहीं, मेरे पास में तो कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा सिर्फ जून आ रहा लिखा हुआ
कामिल सर एक पार्टिसिपेंट है सज्जाद
हाँ।
बोल के
material
ज्वाइन करो जरा.
usage
ऑडियो आ रहा सिर्फ मेरे को
Voice are
अब आ रहा
buying cost per order rupees
चलो शुरू करा देंगे सब सबको म्यूट कर दीजिए
cost
खाली हमारे को
15% of inventory value.
I'll request all the participants to mute the speaker.
Here one term called per month value. So per month is the கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. அப்போ 1 year க்கு அப்படி வரும்போது நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்னா we have to multiply this 1600 value into 12. Formula is going to be the same. 2 into AB. A is what is the value of A here? 1600. But in the 1600 எதுக்கு தான் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? வெறும் 1 month தான் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. அதனால நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்? We have to multiply it by 12. Okay, then 2 into A
हेलो
value
कामिल साहब
1600.
हाँ अस्सलाम वालेकुम
सर ज्वाइन हो
A
जाओ.
value 1600 into
मैं सर
बदी सर ज्वाइन हो जाओ.
into 40 is nothing but our buying cost. The whole
हाँ बोलो क्या हुआ?
if in case problem है per month अपनी ना ಅದು 1 month ओड value
मैं तो दिया हूँ भाई कहाँ से सब है देखो ना
multiply
अभी नहीं
that
होता
value into 12 ஏனா இது எல்லாமே yearly
अभी मुश्किल है ना प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट हो गया.
okay is this thing clear now
भेजता हूँ ट्राई करता हूँ ठहरो.
புரியுதாப்பா per month கொடுக்காம இருந்தா எந்த பிரச்சனையும் இல்ல இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் மாதிரி டைரக்ட்டா வேல்யூ எடுத்து எழுதிடலாம் பட் இங்க per month கொடுத்திருக்கிறதுனால நம்ம மல்டிப்ளை பை 12 பண்ணனும் அவ்வளவுதான் டவுட் இருந்தா கேளுங்க நான் சொல்றேன் அப்படி இல்லாட்டி just copy down this problem
ठीक है
यहाँ है मैं भेज रहा हूँ इसमें है. कहाँ से भेजना?
दबा कर रखो हाँ
नहीं है बाप
चलो हां
कामिल साहब कामिल साहब
15% मांगे
रिचार्ज करा था बुका पे
ये जो काटा है ना वो डिलीट करके मैं आपको फाइल भेज रही हूँ डाउनलोड करके
मैडम आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर
जी सर मैं अनम्यूट हूँ म्यूट कर दूं क्या
हाँ म्यूट कीजिए क्योंकि आपकी बात इधर आ रही है
अजहरुद्दीन भाई अस्सलाम वालेकुम. हेलो
हेलो
कामिल सर एक सज्जाद बोल के पार्टिसिपेंट है उसको जरा ज्वाइन कराओ. सज्जाद तुम ज्वाइन हो गए? कामिल सर
वेटिंग रूम में 11 है हाउ कैन वी अलाउ वी कांट अलाउ पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर ओवर 100 की कैपेसिटी हो गई है कामिल साहब यू बी देयर
I request all the participants please mute your speaker and camera.
अबे अनम्यूट म्यूट क्या
फिनिश பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா சொல்லுங்க அம்மா
हाँ
Unmute your camera and speaker.
we'll move on to the next problem
इसे लगाओ दब गया पागल मान
क्या करना कहाँ जा रहा हूँ?
देखो उसको पीछे बिठाए
எக்ஸாம் போலாமா chat boxல என்ன சொல்றாங்க ஓகே Siddharth. 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 Siddharth.
Tamil sir, who's making all this noise? Tamil sir.
Siddharth.
Tamil sir.
हाँ सर, ये हम सभी को इनको म्यूट कर रहे हैं।
हाँ तामिल सर प्लीज सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को म्यूट कर दीजिए प्लीज एट योर एंड।
अभी सबको हम म्यूट कर रहे हैं, जो भी हमारे स्पीकर्स हैं वो अपने आप को म्यूट कर लें, उनको परमिशन होगी।
या दैट्स बेटर, ये कर दीजिए। थैंक यू।
Now we can begin, Mullah sir. Mullah sir, we have to start now.
Shall I start? Azad sir join कर दिए? Azmi sir कर लिया? Okay. Good morning to all of you. The Dean, Department of Commerce and Management, Professor Sanim Fatima, Head Department of Commerce, Dr. Razaullah Khan, Professor of Commerce, Resource Persons, Azhar Kazmi from Saudi Arabia, and Syed Ajruddin from Aurangabad, all the participants. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this one-day international conference, which is being organized by Department of Commerce on the important theme, reimagining work, job careers in the time of COVID-19. I take this opportunity on behalf of Head, Dean, and faculty members. I extend very, very warm welcome to all the participants and resource persons for one-day international conference organized by Department of Commerce. At the meanwhile, I request Professor Razaullah Khan, Head Department of Commerce, to throw a light on the department's functioning and the University of Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. Razaullah Khan sir, please.
Thank you, Professor Mullah sir.
Okay.
Welcome all the participants. Welcome resource persons, guests of honors. Good morning. At the outset, I would like to show something that is very peculiar about Maulana National Urdu University. It is the only university in the world which is being created and established with the sole purpose of helping the people from Urdu knowing background. This university came into being after an act of parliament passed in 1998. And in last 22 years, it has made many strides. Different schools are there. The School of Commerce and Business Management, SCBM we call it. Under it, we are having one department, Department of Management and Commerce. Since last 15 years, this department is disseminating and engaged in teaching and learning of a very high standards. This department is offering doctoral research facilities in the subject of management, in the subject of commerce. Then post-graduation, we are having Master of Business Administration with two divisions recognized by the All India Council for Technical Education. We have an intake capacity of 120 students in MBA, 60 students we are having a capacity in MCOM. Then we are also running BCom courses since last 7 years so as to have the backward integration. So this is a unique department where we are having undergraduate, postgraduate and doctoral program in commerce. And in management, we are having MBA as well as PhD in management. This department is thriving and working for the overall improvement and on the path of continual improvement and grading. It is the result that this department is being recognized as one of the nerve centers. And it is an important department which is disseminating knowledge not only through traditional mediums, but also by organizing webinars and seminars. This is one initiative that we have taken to invite people from the globe to join this webinar, international webinar on reimagining the jobs. Since we are passing through a very crucial time of COVID-19, we are still in the process, we have not yet come out. So how we are changing? It is changing the thinking process, it is changing the life, whole activities, thinking, living, learning, everything. And that is also one platform through which we are now interacting. It is through electronic medium of e-learning and e-platforms. Of course, when we talk of seminars and conferences, normally comes an idea that delegates are coming, resource persons are coming, and it's an intellectual gathering where people are exchanging, having tea and having a cup of tea and then lunch and all that. But here, no lunch, no nothing, no formalities are there, no physical contacts are there. It is only visible, but non-physical contacts we are having through e-medium. So this is one platform through which we are interacting with the intellectuals and our delegates and our resource persons. Thank you very much. And we all welcome you for this very important talk on reimagining the job, work and gig jobs and all that. Thank you very much, Mullah Sahab.
Now I request our senior professor, Professor Abdul Azim Sahab, to introduce the guest of today's program, Professor Azad Kazmi from Saudi Arabia. Now over to Azim Sahab. Professor Azim Sahab. क्या हुआ? Professor Azim sir. सर अजीम सर का क्या हो?
अजीम साहब अपने माइक को अनम्यूट करें आप.
Yeah, good morning one and all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Azad Kazmi sir, आप अपना speaker on
Can you
कीजिए.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we are hearing.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege for me to introduce today's chief guest, Professor Azad Kazmi Sahab, on the occasion of one-day international webinar on the theme Reimagining Work, Jobs and Career in the Time of COVID-19. Professor Azad Kazmi is a visiting professor of management at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Mineral. In short, is known as KFUPM, a famous university in Saudi Arabia, Tehran. He is a well-known person in the fraternity of business management. Professor Azad Kazmi is known as a professor of strategic management. His book entitled Strategic Management, published by McGraw-Hill, is a reference book in almost all universities in India and abroad. Professor Azad Kazmi has got more than 39 years of teaching, research, and educational administration experience. He has done his BE Honours in Mechanical Engineering from BITS Pilani, MBA from University of Rajasthan, Jaipur, PhD in Management from Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. He has so many affiliations nationally and internationally. Before serving in KFUPM, he worked in Aligarh Muslim University as a chairman, Department of Business Management for 2 terms, Dean Faculty of Commerce and Dean Faculty of Management. He also worked in Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati University as a Dean Faculty of Management Studies. He worked in as Headmaster of Management Program in International Islamic University, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Sir has got many publications to his credit. He has written 13 books, and among them, the book titled Strategic Management, the book titled Business Responsibility with joint author Adila Kazmi is very famous. Sir has published more than 60 articles, case studies, and many book reviews. He has supervised almost 11 PhDs, 2 MPhils, and a lot of MBA dissertations. He has traveled a lot. He has been associated with many national and international seminars in Bangladesh, Brunei, Cambodia, Malaysia, USA, UK, and he has also been a member of almost 34 business and management journals, member of editorial board. Sir I welcome you once again. Professor Azad Kazmi presently is affiliated. He is a visiting professor of management in KFUPM. Sir, we are fortunate to have you here today. I once again welcome you and invite you to address the participants on the topic reimagining work, job, careers in the time of COVID-19. Sir, welcome, sir, Professor Azad Kazmi.
Now over to Azhar Kazmi, sir. Azhar Kazmi, sir, I request you to please take up the proceedings of this first technical session. Please deliver your lecture. Over to Azhar Kazmi. Kamil साहब जरा देखिए अजहर काजमी साहब ज्वाइन हाँ ओके
Good morning to all of you and Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullah wa barakatuhu. In Saudi Arabia, I am at my home now. It's about going to be 9 a.m. Today it is relatively less hot outside. I just checked the temperature. Of course, it's bright and sunny, about 35 degrees outside. I'm happy to be speaking at this webinar of the very famous Maulana Azad National Urdu University. I have visited your university once, a few years ago. It was in the process of developing. I think now, as Professor Azim, I think he was explaining how the university has been developing. I'm happy to see the progress. So good to see you all, Professor Saneem, Fatima, Dr. Maulana, and Dr. Azim, and of course, Dr. Professor Mullah, with whom I have been in touch since the past few days for the organization of this international webinar. I must congratulate you that you have chosen a very topical reimagining work and jobs and careers in the time of COVID-19. I think this is of major concern. Jobs, in terms of statistics, we have very disappointing. I think day before yesterday, there were reports in the Indian media about 50 lakh being lost just in July. Careers have been destroyed. People have lost their jobs sitting at home and so on. At the same time, the world of work has been under change. So this COVID-19 has had a devastating effect on all aspects of life, all aspects, among which I think we in management are a bit more concerned about work, jobs, and careers. Professor Mullah, are you able to hear me properly and see me?
Yes.
So can you be a bit louder, kindly
I'm
a bit
hearing,
louder?
sir. I'm
It's
hearing.
audible.
Are you able to hear me and also able to see me?
Yeah, I am seeing.
Okay, good.
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good. So I'll start with a quotation from Theodore Roosevelt, US President. Far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing, So that's the reason why we are so much concerned about work. Work occupies a major part of our lives. And this work has been subject to the crisis. So I'll just make quick comments on some aspects of the issue that we are discussing today. And of course, leave the details and leave the rest of the thing to be discussed by my co-panelist, Dr. Azharuddin from Aurangabad, from Marathwada University, right? So he will possibly take up the issues in greater detail. Let me touch on the issues here. First, I'll talk about the crisis which is there before us, then the world of work and how the business is trying to respond. Well, this novel coronavirus or COVID-19 crisis, now this is a disease outbreak that has upset all calculations, as we have seen. And since at least February and March this year, life is totally upset, and work and personal life and all those aspects have been under stress, great stress. One thing that we should acknowledge is that the environment today, not just today, environment is always characterized by uncertainty. But in the past about 6 months, since the start of the year, we have faced this uncertainty in much greater measure, And in fact, when we were there in March, we didn't know what's going to happen in April. When we were in April, we didn't know what's going to happen in May, and so on. So no one knows what lies ahead, even in the immediate future. So the uncertainty, which is always there in the environment, uncertainty has been at a much higher level in these COVID times. So this is what we are seeing. Now what I think we have been following this crisis through media reports and through analyses and so on. What I have done, I have been doing since February and March is that I have been following the surveys that are periodically done by McKinsey and consultants. And because I am an impaneled member on their response for the response team, so I get regular updates from them, and I keep a track on what's happening regarding the COVID situation around the world. And sometimes they also take certain special issues and so on. I'll be just showing you the latest COVID situation analysis that they have been doing. So in fact, let us see what they are saying. Let's see today what they are. I'll just show you the, I'll stop sharing this for a moment and show you the so this is the McKinsey and Company regular analysis of COVID-19 implications for business. And this is what I was telling you about. I have been following these the results of these surveys. Of course, I am also a part of the survey as a respondent somewhere. So this is the latest implications we have of August 20, just 4 days ago. So this is what we find. And what we find is an encouraging picture, When I was looking to these briefings in March and April, the situation was much more disappointing. But what we see now is that economic activity is being restored in different parts of the world. And this pandemic, I doubt if we can call it a pandemic. WHO doesn't call it a pandemic. It's a disease outbreak. So we have had these research reports in April and May, and then now till August. This is the situation what we have now. That the action that have been taken by governments, by society, by different groups, what we are seeing is that the virus is getting under control and the economic activity is being restored. So this is a encouraging picture that we have. And of course, the results are different. In India, we might be still in a state of disappointment, because our figures are not very good at the moment. But just as an example, let me give you the figures in Saudi Arabia where I am. I was just looking at the figures of yesterday that were reported today in the newspapers. I'll just give you a quick picture of what's happening here in Saudi Arabia. You see, in Saudi Arabia, there was panic in the beginning, In March, April, there was panic. And then the government, in fact, went into action mode and quickly controlled the situation. By now, Saudi Arabia has conducted about 4 million tests, PCR tests. And the figures has crossed 4 million actually. And what we have is, remember the population of Saudi Arabia is about 30 million. So we have had 4 million PCR tests by now. And the total cases reported are about 307,000, of which about 260,000 have recovered, and the recovery rate is above 91%. Now, the peak in Saudi Arabia came in the first week of July. 1st to 8th July, the peak was there. After that, there has been a steady decline. So what's happening nowadays is that from a high of about 3,000 and above cases, now the cases have come down to about 1,400 per day, while the recoveries have gone above 2,500. So nearly the active cases, the recoveries are now nearly double every day. And as of today, I think there are 24,000 active cases in Saudi Arabia. And the situation is much under control, with hardly 1,000 being critical cases of these. So what we find is that the peak has been reached and now there is a steady decline. And I think, of course, nobody has announced it, but we can clearly see the data that I think by the middle of September, the cases should be somewhere very low, say 100 cases might be there per day, and the situation must be under control. So this is what we are seeing in this. But in India, the figures are disappointing at the moment because we have yet to reach the peak. We are in fact peaking now. No one knows when the peak will come, but I think peak will come very soon now in India also. And of course, we have a very high number of cases, 70,000 cases every day. That's a huge number that we have. But even in India, the situation varies. It's a large country. Saudi Arabia is also a large country. In India, we have different situations in different areas of the country. And I think in some areas in India, the peak might have passed. Okay, so this is the situation that we have now. So we are trying to restore the life, normal life, and so on. So as we see in these figures, the new cases that peaked in April in most countries have been steadily going down. Likewise, in some countries, like an example is New Zealand, the cases have been zero in the past about 3 months. And most of the countries have been trying to do a balancing act. Of course, US and some countries in Europe still are to get a grip over the situation. So this is what we have here. And so where do we go from here? So that's what the situation that's what we are nowadays thinking. So I think the economic recovery will take time. I remember when we were discussing these issues in March, people were saying that if the COVID crisis ends in another quarter, that is from April, May, June, if it ends by June, then the economic recovery might be there in this year itself, by December itself. But since the crisis has extended beyond June, we are still in a situation of crisis. So I think now the recovery will go beyond 2020. So we may see the recovery going even during 2021. So, and of course, this will vary from different places and different countries in the world. New Zealand may already be in the phase of recovery now, while India, it will take a long time. I think we will have to see the middle of 2021 to see certain recovery. So that's what the situation is. Let me come back to the slides that I was showing to you. And so what are we doing? We are trying to formulate responses from the society, from the government, from the institutions, the businesses, the civil society, and so on. And there have been remarkable responses from unexpected quarters, Like take an example, when we were having the migrant labor crisis in India, where many laborers, they were walking down the roads, We saw the society response, to help those poor migrants by providing them food, by providing them water and medicines and so on. So we are seeing simultaneous research also, So there's a lot of research, particularly, of course, as expected, there's a lot of research going in medical sciences, But every discipline has started formulating research questions at least, Like in management, we have been asking the questions about how the organizations are responding or how will they respond and so on. So that's our major concern in management. Economists have been busy about thinking about the macroeconomics and seeing how the economies are going to respond or are responding. Likewise, every discipline is, particularly medical sciences, have been working on the virus and how the vaccines could be developed and so on. So I think you must have been reading a lot. Let me not go into the details of that. So what we find is that there is simultaneous research and of course the use of research to formulate responses. As we just now said, there is a lot of uncertainty. And because there's a lot of uncertainty, governments have been fumbling many a times. They have not been able to respond properly, or there has been some backtracking also. Of course, this is all acceptable, because in a highly uncertain situation, when the data is still coming in and the interpretation of the data does not give a very clear picture, research is ongoing. So we are not really in a position to clearly state our responses, So in some cases, rather in many cases, we find that there has been some backtracking, which is of course natural, expected. And then we have seen even wrong responses and so on. So uncertainty is there. Uncertainty is there even regarding certain medical issues, like say, for example, the issue of use of masks, whether the mask should be used or not. So there is a controversy over that, whether masks should or should not be used, or should they be used sparingly, or they only should be used in public and they shouldn't be used too much, and so on and so forth. And there have been also certain medical researches that say that masks, in fact, rather than being helpful, they might in fact be detrimental to the health. So this is the level of uncertainty that we have. So we have had failures, we have had learning from failures, and as I said, lots of backtracking is there. So history of pandemic, that's an interesting analysis that I was watching. I won't go into the detail at this point. The point that is made by the history of pandemics is that we have had several pandemics over time in history, and each time the world has bounced back. The world has bounced back, the economies have bounced back, and so on. There have been much bigger pandemics, and which have in fact killed millions of people. So what we find is that this pandemic will also go soon, and we are already in the process of recovery that is there. Now let's go to the issue of after the crisis, what will happen, what is likely to happen. This is on the basis of the past pandemics. So when we have studied how the human societies have dealt with pandemics, and how the pandemic period was there, and what happened after the pandemic was over, well, society recovers. We have a tremendous capacity to recover. Economies, they rebound. In fact, some people say that the economic rebound takes place especially at a higher level when such pandemics, they end. Of course, lives and lifestyle changes will be there, and they may be there forever. Several long-term trends, the long-term trends that have been going on for a long time, they alter course, and new trends might emerge. So this is the important point that we'll have. Like just now, we'll be taking up the issue of work. So how the world of work, the trends in the world of work, for example, for so long a time, we have seen that the world of work is defined by certain paradigms. Like we generally go to the office, and there is an office space, and there is a office layout, and there is reporting relationships, and there are means of communication, and there are office equipment, and so on and so forth. Likewise, we have work in factories, we have work in the fields, we have work on the construction sites, and so on. So all those paradigms are under change. So they were long-term trends, now they are under change. Like say, for example, certain companies have been thinking about to what extent could they adopt working away from the site, and to what extent could it work. So these are the new trends that are emerging. Then very importantly, we might not realize it in the short run, but mental models are also reconfiguring. What this means is that our thinking process, our perceptions, our views of things, and so on, they also reconfigure. And I'll give the example of human relationships, for example, or work relationships. Our mental model will reconfigure. Say, imagine a situation where for the next, I think many of the people in the audience will be academicians, and they would relate to this example very well. Now, we as academicians, how do we respond to a situation where we don't see our students in person during the next 3 months or next 6 months. How do we respond? In fact, I think last academic session, like the last academic session which ended here in early June, I think half of the semester we had done normally, but half of the semester we had to go online. So we had a combined experience of working with the same group of students physically, and then we had the experience of working with them online. Now this semester, which is going to start next week here, we will have for the first 7 weeks of the 15-week semester, we will have online classes, and after the 8th week, we are expecting the situation to be normal, and therefore we'll have the physical classes. So that's what we have planned here, and I think many of the places will also be planning in a similar fashion. I don't think in India we could have physical classes till December. I think we'll have to plan for beyond that. Now, all this affects our mental models. Mental models of a physical classroom versus a virtual classroom, communicating with students based on a mental model in a physical setting, and communicating with students in a virtual atmosphere. So all these mental models will be reconfigured over a period of time. Now, what's happening inside the organizations? Well, crises are endemic in all spheres of human activity, including business. So, and in organizations, crisis management is an established discipline. We know most organizations, in fact, especially the larger ones, they know crisis management. They know how to deal with crises and so on. And contingency planning has always been a part of most organizations' planning processes. So many of the organizations have done contingency planning. Most large organizations, in fact, have been able to resume operations quickly after the recovery process started. The problem has been mainly in the medium-sized organizations, and especially the small organizations. So small factories, small workshops, small businesses, they have suffered the most. In fact, quite a large percentage of small organizations have been destroyed totally. And in India, it has been a double whammy in the sense that in 2017, we had the demonetization, which killed a lot of small-scale enterprises. And then we had this faulty implementation of GST. And then now we had this crisis of COVID. So in India, the situation regarding the small businesses is pathetic. And the the mid-sized, or what we call the medium-sized organization, they have also faced huge problems. Large organizations, because of their size, have been able to cushion the impact of this. But even then, even there, we know that many of these large organizations have had to scale down their activity. And I think most organizations are near 30% of their normal activity, which is not really good. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the world of work. So this is the second issue that I take up. In the first part, I mainly talked about the crisis and the impact of crisis and how we are responding. Now, in the world of work, as we know, here I won't go into much detail. I'll leave it to the next speaker to take up many of these things. Now, work is doing task applying skills. We apply hard and soft skills. And this part is especially relevant to the students who might be there in the audience. And as you know, my dear students, a specific skill set is a job. Now, skill sets need change to adapt to new jobs. What we find is that the nature of work is changing, and students know very well that, or they need to know that every job requires a skill set to perform. And in this skill set, there are different types of skills. So we have technical skills like manual dexterity, for example, working with hands. That is an example of a technical skill. We might also have other types of skills like human skills, or even to the level of leadership skills and so on and so forth. Or we'll have certain communication skills, which are extremely important, oral communication skills and written communication skills and so on. So every job has a skill set, and this skill set, it needs change to adapt to new jobs. And as we know, students are trained in universities and colleges to develop knowledge, and mostly knowledge, and then certain skills and certain attitudes in order to perform a particular job, or particular set of jobs. Now, what we find here is that the nature of work is changing. How is it changing? Automation is taking over many routine tasks. All these are long-term trends, not necessarily related to COVID. So we find automation taking over many routine tasks by robotic skills, for example. Another issue that we have is migration within state, country, or across countries. So, for example, in India, we have Punjab is an agricultural, Punjab and Haryana, for example, are agricultural states. Now, many people from other states like Bihar, Odisha, UP, they travel to Punjab and Haryana to work on the fields. So this migration takes place within the states or within the country and across the country. Like I actually migrated only for work. So I migrated from India to Saudi Arabia to work. Now, technology disruptions also take place. But these also offer opportunities. Like in the case that, like here, well, I might have been in Hyderabad today talking to all of you physically, but I'm not. So what are we doing? We are using technology in order to connect and in order to communicate with each other. So we are having this webinar, online webinar. So these technology disruptions, they also offer opportunities. Opportunities in the sense that, like we have nearly 100 participants today. So we might not have had 100 participants if it was a physical seminar. We might have maybe 30 participants, but this online webinars, they spread the net wider, and we can have many people joining in as participants, and then they can benefit. And that's the reason why a lot of webinars are taking place. So this is an opportunity that has come up in this way. Now, COVID-19 has also impacted in some ways. How is it impacted? Let me have a look at that. Okay, I'll take it. Here it is. So what we find is how COVID is impacting work from home or work at home. So we have this phenomenon of working from home. In India, for example, in the information technology industry, work from home was already there. So many people in the IT companies, sometimes they were already working from home. So this is not an entirely new concept. The only thing is that as a response to COVID-19, many other organizations have been adopting work from home. Now, as a result of their experience with people working from home, some organizations have realized, and this is an example that I'm giving you of how the businesses are responding. Some companies have realized that what work they were doing physically in offices, much of that work could as well be done by people by working from home. Like a media report on Tata Consultancy Services, it says that TCS is now contemplating arranging its work schedule in such a manner that 70% of its employees could work from home. They don't need to come at all. While they would only require 30% of their employees to work on site or in offices and so on. Why are they thinking like that? Because they think that they can save costs on valuable commercial space that they occupy when they need to work physically. So if they could arrange the work in such a manner that 70% of their employees could work from home, then their employee cost will also come down. And naturally, the company would pay lesser to those employees who work from home. Because other aspects, they'll be saving in cost, transportation costs and so on, they would be saved. So companies are looking at it as a cost-cutting measure, a cost-saving measure. And well, it might become a trend, starting from the IT industry, other industries, and the companies in those industries may also try to explore the possibility of what percent of their work could be done feasibly by working from home. And to what extent could they use this? So they could save on commercial space, they could save on employee costs, they could save on transportation and so on. Another example is of the use of technology such as audio and video conferencing. Working from home definitely means the use of technology, and that also means greater demand for bandwidth, greater demand for internet, greater demand for data, as we call it. And this is going favorably the companies who work in that area. Yeah, apart from that, I missed that point. Staggered schedules or flexi time. Flexi time is also not a new concept. It's been there since long. And flexi time means that employees can work to a flexible schedule. They can work to a flexible schedule. Like we are seeing nowadays, employees can work at any time from home. And they need not have a 9 to 5 schedule or 8 to 7 schedule or something like that. So flexi times is there. Employees can in fact arrange their own work life and home life in such a manner that the schedules can be staggered. So I can work for 2 hours now, do something else for 2 hours, and then get back to work after 2 hours and so on. But on the negative side, some of the behavioral psychologists are pointing out that because the boundary between work and life, what we call work-life balance, the boundary between work and life is increasingly getting fuzzy, because people work from home, so the home life and work life, they tend to get superimposed, and as a result of which we might have problems. Sociologists have been reporting that there have been, like say for example, higher cases of domestic violence, or what we call in plain and simple words, wife beating and so on. And then unfortunately, some reports say that the divorce rate has also gone up as an impact. So we have a bundle of responses that are coming from COVID-19, some of which may be good and they might be opportunities, but some of these may be threats and they may be negative developments. So the another example is of new protocols emerging in the workplaces. not just workplaces, but also public places, like thermal screening is becoming a commonplace now. Anywhere you go to a mall and you'll be thermally screened, or you go to the airport or railway station, thermal screening is there. A lot of sanitization is there, so offering good opportunities for higher demand for sanitizer companies, and then physical distancing. It's a very difficult thing to do. So, but that's there. And then generally we have a heightened sense of cleanliness, like washing hands more frequently than we did, and so on. So all types of work and all types of jobs, they are being impacted more or less in different ways. So that's what is there. Now coming to the point of how businesses can respond. So businesses can respond. Economic response can be there, social response can be there, environmental responses can be there. Businesses can respond in terms of their responsibility to the employees, to the customers, to business partners, to government, to local communities, and so on. Now, this is a whole range of issues. I think I have been talking now about nearly 30 minutes. So I'll just try to wind up now. So I'll just give you a quick few examples in these areas, like responsibility to employees. Like some organizations, they have had an arrangement where they have continued to pay salary to their employees, even if the employees can't report to work. Like many households, including my wife, she has continued to pay to the help that she uses. She didn't stop it. So for nearly 4 months, she paid without work to the two people who help her in household work, and likewise companies have also continued to pay to their employees. Some companies have done an arrangement where they have reduced 70% or 60% or 50%, but they have continued to pay. Many of the medium-sized organizations, even if they wanted to pay, they have not been able to pay. And certainly small organizations, there is no question of their paying. So their responsibility to employees has not been able to, they have not been able to discharge that responsibility. The responsibility to customers, for example. Many companies have a continual relationship with the customers. Customers need continual support. Like say, for example, take the case of a company like Airtel, which provides telecommunication services. So how have these companies responded? They should have responded by providing better means for customer communication. But on the contrary, what these companies have done, they have all only provided better means of how we can pay them, better. So they have provided even more means of paying. So if earlier there were 10 ways that we could pay, they have come up with another 10 ways that how that can enable. So they should have provided better means of communication with the companies and so on. Likewise, the responsibility to business partners, the responsibility to the governments, that's also important. Businesses have to be responsible to the governments, and they have to first of all cooperate with the government efforts in lockdown, for example, or lockdown rules and measures and so on. And then the companies have to be conscious of their responsibility to the local communities. And that's a very important issue, that companies need to respond to the crisis at the local level also. Okay, so yeah, so many of these issues we talk in our book on business responsibility, and I am showing you the cover of that book. We published it in 2018, and we covered a lot of issues in that. Many of these issues, I think many of you will be familiar with: corporate social responsibility, sustainability, stakeholder management, corporate governance, and so on. And then there are other issues that we normally don't cover, like corporate political activity or human rights in business and so on, employee well-being and business responsibility to consumer. So we have covered these 8 issues comprehensively in this book. And this also gives us a very good idea about how the businesses could respond. in the times of crisis. So these are the references I have used: the World Development Report, the changing nature of work, and then this very interesting India case study, the future of global stability, the world of work in India, in developing countries, which was brought out by the Center for Strategic and International Studies based in the US. So that's what I have for you. And here I end my presentation to you. I hope you got some idea about the crisis, the response to the crisis, the world of work, how it's changing, and the paradigmatic changes that we can expect to see in the near future. I hope Dr. Azharuddin would be able to take the issues further and dwell on these issues in greater detail than I could do. Now, Professor Mullah, can we have some questions if there are any questions to me?
Yeah, right now I have not received any question.
Okay.
For this, I request Professor Abdul Azim whether he has noted some questions or what. How is the position? What is the position, sir? Azim, sir? Professor Azim? Hello? Kamil, sir, ask the Professor Azim, sir, to unmute this one, speaker.
Azim, sir, please unmute yourself. Azim, sir. Also, Professor Kazmi requested to remove this PPT.
He used it. I request all the participants, if anybody want to ask the questions, yeah, Azim sir is there online.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, sir. Professor Azad Kazmi. Very informative. We have got a few remarks from various participants. Dr. Ashok Kumar said this session is really relevant and effective. Dr. Gargi said very informative session. And Mr. Nayak said very informative. And a few people asked to send the feedback link. And very fruitful session. So all positive remarks, but I could not find any question yet. But anyhow, you have covered a very good overview of this present scenario, the crisis, the world of work, how the business responds. And I got a very good, in the chat box, I have found a lot of positive and good remarks. Dr. Mohammed Rima, the challenging academician and what skills should be published.
Thank you, Professor Azim, sir. Now I would
One
like
question is there, sir. One question is there.
Okay. Yeah, please ask.
One question is there from Muhammad Abdul Imran Khan. He is asking, what are the challenges to academicians and what skills should be polished? Can you hear, sir? What are the challenges to academicians and what skills to be polished during this COVID-19?
Okay, I could get the first part of the question. What is the impact on academicians and academicians? Impact is
Kamil, sir, unmute your speaker.
Okay, I'll.
Sir, please carry on. Kazmi, sir.
Okay. Okay, I've stopped sharing my screen now.
You may start it again if it is needed.
Okay. So the question is the impact on academicians. The impact on academicians has been to that one thing is that academicians have to now adjust to the new technologies of delivering education. So that's one clear area where the impact has been there. And then we also need to learn how the other aspects, like say, for example, how to evaluate online, how to conduct examinations online, and so on. This is on the part of teaching. On research, the impact has been already there. We already seen the impact. Like data collection will be different in these circumstances where we don't need to have much physical contact for data collection and so on. And then I think the other impact will be on community work, which we normally do. What we do is basically teaching, research, consultancy, community work, admin work, and so on. So these are the typical skill sets that academicians have. And it has had an impact on all aspects, particularly the teaching and research part. So we need to learn new technologies, adapt quickly to technology, and this is especially relevant to people like me, or people in my age group. Younger people will, in any case, know how to adjust. But I know some people in my age group, they even have difficulty in conducting online classes. They simply can't do that, and therefore it's a big challenge for such people to adapt to the technologies and so on, and then to deal with the uncertainties which are there, in our profession also. So this is the level of academicians. Of course, the academic institutions also need to respond, but that's a bigger question. I won't go into that at this point. So that's my answer to this question.
One more question, sir. This is from Dr. Sanjay. How would the skills we are adopting in the pandemic can help educationists to survive in the new normal, which is totally different? I'll repeat. How would the skills we are adopting in the pandemic can help educationalists in the new normal, which should be totally different?
Yeah. I think the point that I already made, it could be an opportunity or a threat in both ways. I'll demonstrate how it is there. Like say, for example, academic institutions can use these technologies to cover a wider range of students and a wider group of students with more flexibility. So that's one clear advantage. But then some of the institutions may misuse this, by cutting down on the number of staff. They would say, no, we don't require 3 people now, only 1 can do it, because we'll cover everything by. So in a webinar like this, 100 people can join, or even 300 people can join. So some of the academic institutions may try to make use of technologies like this. So we academicians need to be very clear on this. What the role of the academician is not going to go down or going to lessen. On the contrary, I feel it will be more important for us as academicians. And but of course, we do face challenges, and as I just now said, the challenges are mainly in the area of adoption and adaptation to new communication technologies that we need to take up. Then, of course, what the society is experiencing, we'll also experience, like work from home, the issue of balance of the work-life balance and so on. We'll also face those issues. We'll also definitely face all those issues.
So one last question from Sabha Inamdar. She's asking, she's saying, thank you for the insight, sir. Any thoughts on stress among university teachers due to shift from campus mode to online mode? Sir, any thoughts on stress among university teachers due to shift from campus mode to online mode?
Yeah. Actually, this shift from campus mode to online mode, the reports that I've been reading from UK, from Canada, and from US, and even in India, what we find is that many of the universities have shifted to online only temporarily. Like I gave you the example of Saudi Arabia. Here in Saudi Arabia, It's a uniform government policy for all educational institutions, for universities, for colleges, for schools. 7 weeks, because we have a 15-week semester. For the first 7 weeks, we are going to conduct our classes online, evaluation online, everything online. From the 8th week, that is from 10th, 11th October, we'll go to the physical. Of course, that will be subject to the situation, but all possibilities are there that the situation will be totally under control by mid-October, and therefore we will get back to the classes in October, mid-October. That's what the situation is here. So this shift from campus mode to online mode is only temporary in our case. Some of the universities, like notably some of the bigger universities in the West, UK and US and Canada, for example, they have declared this whole semester till December, January, to be online. So they're already conducting they'll start. I think most of them will start next week or next week, or by 1st September they will definitely start. Conducting online classes and so on. So that will go for about 3.5 months for this semester. And I think they would revert to the campus mode in the second semester, starting in January. So that's the position. But as I said, just like companies realizing the advantages of work from home, some of the universities may realize the advantage of online mode, as compared to campus mode. So they might take the advantage, because we are having a lot of learning is going on. So some of the institutions may like to apply this learning to a situation where they could have some proportion. Like say, for example, they might have, like I was giving the example of Tata Consultancy. They foresee that in a few years, 70% of their work will be done from home. Likewise, universities may have a policy where they may think that, okay, in the next 3 years, we'll have 30% online, or next 5 years, we'll have 50% online, and so on. But this online thing is going to become a trend. That's very sure, So, of course, it's not a new thing, We already had open universities, We have the world's biggest open university, Indira Gandhi National Open University in India, conducting classes through the distance mode, and so on. So this is not entirely a new thing, but it will be a new experience for the traditional institutions. And I foresee that many institutions will take advantage of this. There will be a lot of learning, a lot of skill development and so on online, by online classes, by online instruction, by online methodologies, by online evaluation and so on, and online certifications. So all that is going to increase. That's my prognosis.
Sir, one last question, sir.
Azim sir, please, you asked so many questions, sir. Okay.
One last question in short.
Okay.
One last question. Many students have asking this.
Okay.
Being an Indian and traveled a lot, seen the world, do you think that is it possible to have online classes and its success in India? Your opinion?
From the student point of view, generally the experience of the students has not been good. I have seen 2 research studies, quick research studies that were done from the perspective of the students, and generally the results are that students are not really happy, particularly those who have been used to the physical mode, So they are not really happy with the online mode. And though it may seem to be a cost-effective means and so on. So typically the issues that we have had in distance education or with the open universities and so on, all those issues will always be there. And therefore, the answer to this question is very specifically that the online mode doesn't appeal to many students. They want physical interaction because, and this is very clear, especially it's pathetic at the school level, and particularly at the primary and nursery levels, You know, why do we send children to school? We send children to school not just for education, you know. We send them so that they can learn to live with other children, you know. They can learn to interact with other children, to communicate with other children, and to compromise and to adjust and to learn to live with others and so on and so forth. You know, if we continue with this online thing, I think we have in another 20 years we are going to have a lot of selfish people in the society, you know, because they won't have interacted with others. You know, so generally the experience is not good. So I think it's better we come back to the physical mode as soon as possible, or at least in our total scheme of things, a major part of the instruction should be physical mode, you know, rather than online.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Over to Nisar sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Syed Azhar Kazmi sir, for accepting our invitation and delivering a nice presentation. Your presentation was coolly and you have covered up a lot of things about how that Saudi Arabia came up with the COVID pandemic situation, how it has brought it to the normalcy very quickly. And also you have thrown a lot of data worldwide and that the difficulties faced by the teachers during online classes, and it is a challenges lies between not only teachers even to the students to face the online classes because lack of interaction and all that. With this, I'll take the opportunity to thank you once again on behalf of all the participants, on behalf of the Dean and Head of the Department, and on behalf of my faculty members. I thank you once again, sir, for your nice presentation and accepting our invitations. I hope you will cooperate in a similar way in future as well whenever we will organize such kind of webinar conferences. Thank you very much, sir. Azhar Kazmi, sir. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Before I will switch over to the chairman, chair Dean Sanim Fatima, Professor Sanim Fatima, I request all the participants, please fill up the feedback form which is there in the chat box. Professor Dr. Kamil has helped us in putting that link on the chat box. Please fill up that feedback form so that you will be able to get the e-certificate on your mail IDs. Now I will request Professor Sanim Fatima, chair of this program, to deliver or to present her presidential remark. Over to Sanim Fatima.
Good afternoon to everyone. Am I audible, please?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Audible.
Yes. Sir, it was
Yeah,
really,
it is audible.
It was really great to hear Professor Azhar Kazmi Sahab. Sir, I'm also your student in a way. I used to read your strategic management book during my days of MBA, and all your books I appreciate very much. Your books are very much liked by our MBA students, not only here, but I think the world over, especially the strategic management books. They are excellent, sir. And we once again, we extend a warm welcome to you anytime, Azad National Urdu University. Today, it was good. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Today, it was good to hear you, but I was missing that touch. Had you been here, it would have been a different experience. Just a few minutes back, sir, you were talking about why we send children to school. Man is a social animal. We are so much used to this social life, and I myself, I'm working online and offline. I miss the ambience. I miss my students, my colleagues. Every day I come for a few hours to see some files and then online classes. So now this is a transition phase. As you said, we send children to learn from other children. Similarly, we just don't come to the institutions or the organizations just to do our job, but it's a great experience, sir, which I think all of the my esteemed faculty members, colleagues, and all the participants will agree that whether we go to a school, to a college, to anywhere we work, or to, for example, to have a cup of coffee in Starbucks, we are missing that experience, that feel. We are having coffee, no doubt, It's being delivered, the food is delivered, because most of the hotels have started takeaway, but then we are missing that experience. But I think this is only a temporary phase. We are looking forward with the highest level of optimism, even though the vaccine is on the way, and we are also hearing the second wave of the pandemic. But still, let us all be prepared to be vigilant, prepare ourselves, and then also to adapt this change. Normally what happens is, when we teach change management, or whenever a change comes, we have a choice. But this pandemic has not left us, any of us, with any choice. Not just the work life. See the way we are conducting ourselves at home. The work life and the personal life, they are impacted very much. The way we live last 6 months, it has changed drastically. And then this pandemic, it has changed. Earlier, only 3.5% of the Americans used to work online. Even in India, in most of the countries, there was the concept of flexi time, telecommuting, but now it has become the new normal. And we hope that this new normal will not continue for long, because we want to come back to the offices for many reasons. Like, the office will continue to be important for many institutions, the employees themselves, and the customers, of course, because we miss the environment for the reasons of training, mentorship, and collaboration. Most of the times when we conduct a faculty meetings, I feel that decision making is more easier when we meet physically, the collating teams, what we call, because many a times what we more cannot write or communicate in written, it becomes easier to express in the physical environment. So we are missing that touch. And then as we take up this adaptation without any choice for a blended mode of teaching, learning, or a blended mode of work, what we need to prepare ourselves is three main aspects. What is it? Reimagining workplace relationships. The three most important aspects are the location of the workplace. Like, instead of traveling for a lot, the organizations can design more of its branches or locations where people travel less, to be more cautious and work in a sanitized atmosphere. And then one made my personal observation, and what others also will agree, is we are missing that hierarchical thing in the online mode of working. There is no formal timeliness, the dress code, and especially I would just like to add up one thing, if you all permit me. Now, being the women employees, working from home has more demands, more expectations from the family. Say, for example, kids, they be happy that mom is working at home, so let me demand something. But once you leave the home, it's off. We are in the workplace, that's a different world, and we come back, it's a different world. So for women employees, it's more of a challenge working from home, balancing the responsibilities of home and work. And then coming from the employer's point of view, the employers also have to think, like, it is a new normal, but still business as usual to go on. We have to design the performance evaluation parameters slightly different, because employees are going to come back after quite some time, and how to gauge their performance from work from home, what they are delivering. For example, how to judge an online class or this thing. And then hiring and onboarding. Normally, it is an expectation that due to this pandemic, many of the operations, like the travel industry, for example, the tourism industry, it has almost come to a standstill. But then there is an opportunity in pharma sector and various sectors which are demanding more of employees. So the hiring system and the onboarding of various retailers on e-commerce, like, for example, it has become the new normal for even homemakers to purchase things on Big Basket and Amazon. We don't want to step out of the houses as a precautionary measure. So onboarding of retailers is a challenge where they need to be trained, and hiring of employees for the delivery purpose. And another important challenge for the employers is engaging the employees or the workers who are delivering from home. What parameter, how to gauge them, how to engage them, because if there's a slight disengagement, employees might shift, and the employers may land up with good talent going off to the gig companies. So, and then there might be a major risk of attrition, wherein we may lose good employees. So, sir, once again, coming back to your lecture, you have given us a enlightening scenario of the COVID situation around the world, and the uncertainty we have landed it, the various crises, and the world of work. So after listening to your lecture, sir, my few additions I have added from the employer's point of view and also from the employee point of view, what we are missing, that touch in the physical ambience. And let's be optimistic. Let's hope that this new normal ends and we come back. Now it's a blended thing. Some we are doing online, some we are doing offline, but let us be vigilant and prepare ourselves to working towards back to the new normal, to the actual normal, because there are every opportunity, like let us take it as an opportunity. Every opportunity teaches us some new skills, some new ways of doing things. And those companies, most of the, like for example, the IT companies especially, they have arrived at some profit, seeing that why to commute, give the transport to the employees and the workspace, they're saving on that. But then this will again lead us to new opportunities. With this brief inputs of mine, I would like to take leave and then invite and hand it over to Mullah sir to invite the next speaker. Maybe let us see what Professor Azad has to say about this. And Azad Kazmi sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being a part and then participating here as chief guest. And we look forward for an association and meeting you at the earliest, sir, not in a online mode, but maybe in a physical mode. We extend a warm welcome once again to both the speakers and all the participants. Maybe when we have another event, you're most welcome to visit Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Once again, welcoming you all. Thank you. I take you. Mullah sir, please continue.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your nice presentation and nice remark over that the lecture delivered by Professor Azad Kazmi. Now, dear participants, I will take you to the second technical session, for which Professor Syed Azharuddin, a big man in the academic world, he has moved around 30 countries across the globe. He has visited even America, Germany, France, etc. So with this, I request Professor Azad Kazmi, Syed, both the names are Azad, that's why it is confused. Syed Azharuddin sir, to join this program to introduce Professor Syed Azharuddin. I request Dr. M.A. Sikandar sir to introduce Azhar sir. Before that, on behalf of the head and dean and on behalf of all the participants, I would like to extend very, very warm welcome to my friend, Professor Syed Azharuddin, to this second technical session to deliver a lecture on reskilling, work from home and gig job. It is a very wonderful topic. Now over to Dr. M.A. Sikandar to introduce the chief guest of this second technical session. Sikandar sir. Over to Sikandar sir. कामिल साहब देखो उनका माइक क्या है, देखो पोजीशन.
डॉक्टर सिकंदर. हेलो सिकंदर साहब, अपना माइक अनम्यूट करें आप.
फोन कर लो पर्सनली, कोई मैडम फोन कर लो आप. अजीम सर आप तो फोन कर लो सिकंदर सर को.
हाँ मैं कर रही हूँ सर. He'll connect अभी. सिकंदर साहब सर अनम्यूट करिए. सर प्लीज अनम्यूट. Sir, unmute please.
Already unmuted. There is some problem. Can you hear me now?
थोड़ा सा volume. I can hear you over phone, not on the web.
There is some problem, but we can.
Now it is audible.
Okay, thank you.
I request Sikandar sir to introduce the chief guest of this technical session.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we are hearing.
Yeah. So there may be some problem. I have removed it. Thank you. It is a wonderful session. And perhaps for the first time, our School of Commerce and Business Management, organizing this. It is an opportunity during pandemic. So it is so a warm welcome to Professor Syed Azharuddin Sahab. Today we have a technical session. We are going to discuss about the topic of reskilling, work from home, and gig jobs. These are the three areas the speaker is expected to speak. A brief introduction about Professor Syed Azharuddin Sahab. It is a very lengthy biodata. I will be limiting so that you get more time. Professor Syed Azharuddin is a professor and head of the Department of Commerce, and Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar Marathwada University. He did his MCom, MPhil, PhD and a Bachelor of Journalism, as well as a PG Diploma in Business Management from Wellinger, which is a well-known institute in Mumbai, Wellinger Institute, and PGDHRD and Kollam, Chennai. Because very surprisingly, I get to know he worked in 11 years in the media, in All India Radio, All India Radio, I believe. So this is he was a prolific writer and written 2 books on business environment and basic finance. He also an editor of Journal of Management and Commerce named Deccan Business of Review, and he is also member of in the editorial board. He has also worked as a principal, vice principal in many positions. He is in the managing council of finance and accounts officer at the university, and also he is guided more than 18 students in PhD and MPhil, and he has organized more than 12 conferences and workshops, and he has attended more than about 100 of seminars and all. He has published more
कामिल
than
सर आपका
34
माइक स्पीकर थोड़ा म्यूट कीजिए.
international publication and 24 national level publication. It's going, it's a very interestingly, he worked in the transmission executive in the All India Radio for 11 years, which gives a long institute about the journalism and other things. So he's a better manager, we believe, than a faculty. Secondly, he is also equally important in the sports, and he is he represented a football team and also hockey team, and he was a captain of the Marathwada University football team, winning the West Zone championship for the first time in 89-90. Kudos to you, sir. And he also visited many countries, as it's a number, it is going to many countries, including Asian as well as European and UAE and America. So over to Professor Syed Azaddin Sahab. We are eager to learn because there is little bit delay, but we will tie over. We will have a question answer session, and we will have a summarization of the process. And the end, the dean will address the audience. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Please mute the unmute your mic.
Now over to Syed Azaddin sir.
Unmute karo.
Dr. Kamil sir, you just search it out whether that mic of Syed Azaddin sir is okay or not.
Yes, I am online, Mullah
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, sir. Please, sir.
I am
Carry on,
online,
sir.
Mullah sir.
Thank you, sir. Carry on, sir. Okay, ma'am. Hello.
You can start, Azad sir. Azad sir, can you hear us?
I am online, sir. Can I start?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir.
Second, sir, I am online.
Okay.
Yes, you go ahead, sir.
Please go ahead to your lecture, sir.
Please go ahead.
I think admin should connect me now.
You want to share the screen? You want to share the screen?
No. I will speak extempore, no problem.
Oh, no, please, sir. Please start, sir. You show the screen. You can start.
I don't want to share the screen.
You can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir, please.
We will make arrangement. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. At the outset, I thank School of Commerce and Business Management, Maulana Azad, National University, Hyderabad, Telangana, India, for inviting me as a resource person for international webinar on reimagining work, jobs, and careers in the time of COVID-19. Friends, I will be speaking on reskilling, work from home, and gig jobs. As the earlier speaker, the learned Professor Azhar Kazmi has already thrown light on crisis management and world of work. I will be speaking on reskilling, work from home, and gig jobs. There is a change in business dynamics during and after post-COVID-19 pandemic around the world. Economists all over the world are echoing that COVID-19 pandemic is worst hit the market since the Great Depression in 1929. And this is one of the very important aspects when the economists are predicting that the COVID-19 pandemic is worst hit in the market since the Great Depression in 1929. It's a challenge for the economies all over the world. Coming to the topic, I would start with change is the law of nature. And human resource throughout the world, they are facing a big challenge of attrition, joblessness, downsizing, lack of skill, and inability to continue the work which they have left behind due to the pandemic. And this is evident throughout the world, right from US to the European economies, which are developed economies, and the emerging economies all over the world. Impact of pandemic is evident where the global economies is on decline. So I will correlate these things with the economy and the reskilling and gig jobs. Friends, the question is how to manage the decline. So it starts with production, supply, and human resources. First thing is managing decline in production. And when we say that production declines, because production is primarily dependent on the demand and supply situation. And that is why if the demand is there and supply is not there, then actually the production is hampered. And that is why you will find that the production, supply, and the third part is the human resources. A reference was given by Professor Azad Kazmi about the human resources. As I have told you, that production disruption is there, supply chain disruption is there, and human resources mobilization is a challenge. Why it is a challenge? Because you'll find that the economies have not been able to come back to its original position. Here I would like to mention about the V-shaped recessionary trend, where the economy bounced back immediately. But it has not been so in many of the economies. The V-shaped recession was not evident and it was not functional also. And that is why you'll find that most of the economies in the world, especially the emerging economies of the world, they are facing U-shaped recession where they are opening sector-wise, on priority basis, on day-to-day situation evaluation, and then they are opening up systematically. And that's why you find, because this aspect, the best challenge is the human resources mobilization. As you have seen, that is not evident in any of the world, but it was very much evident in India that human resource mobilization needs to be taken place, has to be taken care if the economy has to be bring back on track once again. The wheel of the economy should be rotating when the human resources are in their places once again. Now, friends, with the challenge of pandemic, it has brought some changes. Earlier speaker spoke on crisis and world of work. But what pandemic has brought is social change. We are witnessing in all the areas of the society, social change. Come back to it later on. The second, change in business norms. And when I say social change and change business norms and supporting that during pandemic, a new transformation has taken place, which is digital transformation. And that is what we are going to live in future also. That is why social change, new business norms, and digital transformation will be future. And to get ourselves ready for digital transmission or digital transformation and to bring back production, supply, and human resources on track, we have to take the first step. And the first step will be reskilling, reskilling of employees. Why? In order to grab the business in future, in order to fulfill the demands of clients which have changed during the pandemic, and it is going to change after the pandemic, that demands of the client that needs to bring reskilling of employees. And massive reskilling or sometimes upskilling drive should be taken for the workforce, and it is taking place in different parts of the world, and it is evident in India also. So here, reskilling and upskilling, both the things are going on simultaneously. Friends, I would like to point out, over a last couple of years, especially, thousands of workers in IT industry. IT industry is considered to be one of the top job creators. And in this IT industry, which is considered as one of the top job creators, most of the employees were laid off, with several roles becoming redundant due to the automation and digitization. And it has been rightly pointed out by Professor Azad. He said about the jobs, but I would term it as the roles, several roles of the employees, human resources, becoming redundant to the two aspects, that is automation and digitization. As far as automation and digitization is concerned, I would refer to my statement, that is, change is the law of nature. So when you are transforming, when you are changing, when you are going for automation, so many things will happen. I would like to point your attention towards when CNC machine was introduced in the production line. Lot of hue and cry was there. There will be lot of attrition and joblessness. People will lose their job because CNC machine will do the work of 10 employees, 15 employees, and it will bring unemployment. The unemployment rate in the industry or the corporate sector will increase. But then it's not so. CNC machines were introduced, and the reskilling and skilling brought automation in industry, manufacturing industry, and because of that, the new roles were created, new jobs were created. And similar case with digitization is digital transformation. It will take place because it is a continuous process and upgradation will go on. So when I say this, COVID-19 pandemic has made killing the top priority to avoid dangers and reduce the redundancies and layoffs. This means that they are catering to the need of today and primarily focusing what have to do in future. This is very important as far as skilling and reskilling and upskilling is concerned. So that is why you will find we will need more talent with right skills who can build and serve the needs of the people and needs of the employers. And that is why I would like to point your attention towards the caution given by the Vice President of NESCOM. He says that the reskilling target which they have suggested to the government for the next 5 years, now they say that this needs to be done in the next 2 years only, because the demand is fast changing, the needs are changing, and people, they want customized solutions. And that is why you will find that the 5-year action plan needs to be implemented in 2 years. So that is naturally the reskilling and upskilling will be the need of the hour. Here, training today in cloud technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, data analytics, cyber security, user experience, and digital networking. These are some of the new norms of digitization which are going to be implemented in all the 3 areas. Friends, all the 3 areas. I'm not talking only about one area. I will talk about all the 3 areas of the supply chain. Then I will primarily focus on production and human resources. So human production, supply, and human resources. So here, cloud technology is the need of the hour. Why? Next decade is about connecting. And you'll find 3 things in the next decade: connecting, analytics, and 5G, which is coming very fast, which is going to come. We have already started adopting 4G, and we are readying ourselves for 5G. So here, when I say that next decade is about connecting, data analytics, and 5G, we are preparing, or the world is preparing itself for Industrial Revolution 4.0. This is the readiness for the future to come. And that is why you will find that machine and algorithm in workplaces are expected to create 133 million new roles. I'm not talking specifically about jobs. Jobs are new roles which are massive. More than 13 crores new roles will be there available. So this is the massive opportunity which is for. And that's why machine learning and algorithms will the future with the support of cloud technology, because everybody cannot afford to go for purchase of software to exploit the infrastructure, and that is why they will have to finally focus on the using the cloud technology. I will come back to it later half of my deliberation. I will not go in detail in the cloud technology, artificial intelligence, OT, and data analytics now, but in the later half I will come back to it. But today I would again point your attention towards the caution given by the NESCOM president, U.B. Praveen Rao. He has said, he has cautioned, everybody should listen it very carefully. The shelf life of skill now is only 2 to 3 years. And hence, what is the need? The need is continuous lifelong learning is needed. And that is why we have to be ready for the adoption, and we have to go for reskilling, lifelong learning. And it can be evident from Professor Azad Kazmi has given one company example, but I would not repeat it. I will not repeat the example of TCS, but I will go for Infosys. Look at that, 2,40,000 employees, specifically 240,000 employees have seen 1.5 time increase in reskilling in the COVID and post-COVID era. So this is a very, very important strategic move by the Infosys, and they are going for reskilling of their employees. See the magnanimity, 1.5 times. This is the reach, and that is why, what is the need? Reskilling, the need of the hour, upskilling, need of the hour. Same is the case with Accenture, 200,000 employees, and they have landed reskilling, launched reskilling with convenience to all. Look at the reach, and that is why you will find that the recent studies have also pointed out or revealed that majority of IT company workforce, they are spending at least 35 minutes each day on house learning platform. Now this is again a very startling statistics, because if on an average a person is spending 35 minutes in house learning platform or on a house learning platform, this can be understood, the magnanimity can be understood, the reach can be understood, the need can be understood and visualized what is going to come, and that we have to be prepared for that. Many businesses are moving to cloud technology to provide reliable services to their customers. Why cloud technology? I told you that they cannot afford to go for the change, that is digitization, on their own. So they have to go for such type of platform where they can very easily get the platform to automate processes and increase their productive capacity and lower the cost. These are the two aspects which are there in the mind to go for cloud technology. The advantage can be taken of that platform in production or production processes, and indirectly they will also be in a position to save the cost. Here, user experience and data analytics are playing important role in running businesses efficiently. When I say, friends, the user experience and data analytics. See, data analytics, a lot is being discussed, but do you know that there is shortage of human resources? There is shortage of skilled data analyst, data scientist. Why? Because it is not just a information technology tool. It is not just that if you know computers, you will know data analytics. No, this is a very challenging technology. This is a very challenging thing that data analytics has brought. It is a blend of the knowing of the computers, mathematics, and statistics. If you have this deadly combination, then you can very well get established in the data analytics area, because data analytics is mostly, it is application in the business running efficiently, and those results of data collection, analysis, with artificial intelligence application, analyzing the data, rather I would call big data, huge data, which have to be analyzed, and then the results have to be implemented in their products which are going to come in future. These results will also bring new type of planning for the businesses, how they will be able to satisfy their customers in this situation. Here, in order to stay competitive, relevant, and employable, people need to unlearn. Remember, unlearn. That is, learn new stuff and therefore commit to lifelong learning. So when I say that you have to learn new stuff and commit to lifelong learning, it is a need of the hour and also the future need. Here, the future work would be a blended model, not completely work from home, as people need to connect. Here I would like to point two things, what Professor Azhar Kazmi has said and the Dean, Honorable Dean, Professor Fatima.
अजहर साहब आपके आवाज बंद हो गया। अजहर साहब,
A need to build a social capital as well, because human beings are considered as social animal. Man is known as a social animal, and that is why the limitation of work from home will always be there. No doubt TCS has taken that, they are thinking of making it concise, but then it cannot be, because the social capital is the asset which is lifelong, and that can be done only while connecting people, and people need to connect physically. And that is why this is a new norm. Work from home will be there. There will be a blend. And as I said, and I've been reading material from the economists all over the world, right from Chatham House to the Israeli economist, they have been suggesting new models. How they have been suggesting new models? That there could be a blend, work from home, and during the pandemic they have suggested very unique things, that there should be a odd day work, Monday, Wednesday and Friday should be work, and rest the people should work from home. Even some of the model to break the change have been suggested, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday should be work from home, and the people can again come back on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and they can take a break on Sunday, and then they can go for work from home. So these are the models which have been suggested by the economists world over while they were proposing new norms to kickstart the economy the world over. What will be the situation of kickstarting? And see, you will find that those economies which are dependent on the nature of their economy, they have started opening according to their requirements. I would like to give you one example of Italy. Italy is having two very important areas. One is manufacturing and second is tourism. And they found that they can bring tourists from the European countries to Italy, and that is why they have opened up the tourism sector first rather than going for manufacturing, which they have on a very large scale in automobiles and other areas. But they have, what they have done that they have a very good infra. as far as tourism is concerned, and so they have gone for opening up that area. So this is something which every country is doing that. India is not an exception. India is also moving in this direction only. As for the new norm, where the companies, where the organizations, they are comfortable to work from home, they have started that, and it is going on effectively. People are learning, people are contributing, and it is going on. Where it is not possible work from home, they have suggested that there should be a 10 to 15% presence in their organization, maintaining distancing. I will not call social distancing. I am opposed to this word, social distancing. I will be more comfortable in suggesting distancing so that it is safe. Precaution is better than cure. Social distancing, I think it is a sort of the negative sense, because we should not go for social distancing, we should go for distancing. Now coming back, I was talking about work from home, because reskilling has given a chance to work from home. Friends, this is a temporary phenomenon because COVID-19 has thrown up a challenge. And that is why it is not going to last for a long. Some of the teachers were asking question that the e-learning will be the future. We have seen, we have already implemented through IGNOU and other lifelong learning platforms. And we have also seen the results, how much comfortable people are as far as e-learning is concerned. And that is why this temporary phenomena is going to finish off. And I would like to continue by some of the questions which were asked. You will be surprised that the report which has come in the last 3 days indicate that right from the top universities in US, top universities in European countries, all are in favor of not in favor of virtual classrooms, but they want to open up and they want to bring the students in their campuses. And they are working on that. What will be the new norm for them? So the teachers, which if they are concerned, then they can relax that in the course of time, the infra, when it is ready and the pandemic is in control, the second wave is gone, again the campuses will start. Some of them, there can be a problem with the rural connectivity. And this is a big problem in the emerging economies, especially India. If you look, there is a problem of connectivity. And you can even see, it is evident from the seminar, the webinar, international webinar itself. See the connectivity. Most of the time we could not hear the person introducing or the resource person talking. There is a lack of words, and again he is connected to it very effectively. So these problems are there, and rural connectivity in India is a big problem, and that is why unless we have those facilities at the doorsteps, we will not be able to go for virtual classrooms, or we will not go for e-learning on a huge scale or massive scale, or implement it 100%. And that is why there will be a blend, as Professor Salim Fatima has said, there will be a blended solution, virtual as well as the classroom teaching. And that is why the need of the hour is that we have to be ready for that work from home with skilling, reskilling, and upskilling. And you know, friends, Professor Azad Kazmi said that it is very difficult for the senior persons to adapt to the new environment. It is true. It is very difficult. But then we have to go for lifelong learning and take up a challenge to adapt to the situation, because change is required. If we do not change, we will go towards redundancy and people will not be able to take advantage of the experience of the pedagogy which is spread all over the world. And that is why the reskilling and upskilling is required for the work from home. Now, very important aspect which I was told to talk by the organizers was the gig economy, or rather, I would say gig jobs. And this is an area where lot of soul searching, lot of thinking, lot of planning, lot of policy making and execution is required, because there is a apprehension that due to digitization, due to new norms during pandemic and in the post-pandemic, jobs will go away or change. When you are apprehending that jobs will go away or it will change, it is not true. Don't be afraid. But in fact, jobs will come, and it will come with new skills. The most important thing is how to manage the transition in between, the need of digital mastery, the need of applying this digital mastery in the production process, in the supply chain. And if you are able to master this digital transformation and apply it in production as well as in the supply chain, we will be able to adapt to the new business norm in every area, all the area. Friends, if there is an intention that digital transformation will be used as reducing human resources, it will be used as a tool to reduce cost, then my friends, remember, there will be 75% failure if the intention is to reduce human resources and reduce the cost. It is not possible. You have to use those human resources in some way or the other with reskilling and some new norm. Otherwise, can be lost. And it has been basically experienced. I was reading a report which been put on the website of Atom House. It says that some of the digitalized companies, they use this as a tool for transformation, and by applying in production, they had an intention of reducing the human resources at their disposal. And they said that it will reduce the cost. But what happened? Eventually, they did not succeed. And that is why I always say that you should look at the brighter side. It should not be used as a tool. Gig jobs, they are temporary. And they are flexible jobs, which are common in India and most part of the world. Why? Because the companies, they are turning towards hiring through independent contractors and freelancers. Whenever there is a need, they call them job on demand. And instead of employing full-time employees, they are adopting this method. Eventually, when they are adopting the method of independent contractors, or they are availing the services of freelancers, giving them job on demand, in both the things, human resources are being hired. So what will happen? Even if some of the downsizing is taking place, pink slips are being handed over, don't worry. If you go for reskilling and upskilling, you can adapt to the new norm and you can always fit in the freelancer's position, and you can go and adapt yourself and you can fit in the job on demand. So what will happen now? See, when I say this, the gig economy specifically undermines the traditional economy of full-time workers who really change position. Instead, they focus on lifetime careers. And that's why the traditional economy, where a person focus on lifetime career, will be finding it difficult to adopt to the new norms. But then I said, change is the law of nature. But we are witnessing, see, I will not divert from there. First, I will focus on gig workers. See, drivers, for example. Drivers are the people, they are the excellent example of gig workers because they can be hired on demand, and when they complete their task, they are said, thank you, you take this remuneration, thank you very much for the services. Even the nature of consulting accountants, freelance programmers, special piece workers, they are specialists in some piece of work. They will do that work, and when they finish their work, they will be remunerated and they will be compensated and they will be happy with the remuneration they are getting when they are doing that piece of work. Previously,
Azad sir,
these concepts were known as sharing economy, or sometimes it was also referred to in some of the economy as a collaborative economy. So sharing economy or collaborative economy is very present in gig workers. Now question is, what is the scope for shaping career path for young people with untraditional first job, or for the aging labor market that is hiring longer but facing more frequent job changes and skill obsolescences? Now see this, when I say that the aging labor market that is living longer but facing more frequent job changes and skill obsolescences, point me to another question. How can technological change be utilized to create economic opportunities and sustainable future rewarding career pathways? Certainly, most of the economies or the sectors of the economy will be affected. They will be able to capitalize. But due to the changing nature, most of the sectors will be affected. And that is why harnessing the challenges, harnessing the technology before, and the governments, policymakers, businesses, they have to cater to this.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir. Azad, sir?
Can you wind up after a few minutes, because it's already getting. Azad sir?
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Azad sir, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I was talking about.
थोड़ा wind up कर दे जल्दी.
I was talking about. Yes, within a minute or two. Yes, within a minute or two, I will. Not more than that.
Okay, sir.
Most of the planners or economists, they have said that India's loss may be, China's loss may be India's gain in production and shifting supply chain. Friends, gig economy promotes job being, doing pieces of work for different people rather than regular jobs. Now, I will sum up with, it is imperative to prepare data science and artificial intelligence based module for school students in order to empower youngest minds and drive innovation in the country to the next level and be competitive internationally. This is the need of the hour. One more thing, artificial intelligence could generate 450 to $500 billion to GDP of India by 2025. And this is the vision of the government. And there is a big chance for reskilling, upskilling to the human resources, and the 5 areas where they can make an impact. I will name that 5 areas and stop. That is, the focus in future should be 5 areas of strategy. Number 1. The number 2, data, which is big data, which needs analytics. The third is technology stack. And the fourth is the talent, that is utilization. And the fifth is execution. And this execution will be through 3 things, that is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, then SaaS, software as a service, and the last thing which we have to see is the technology as a service and platform as a service. And if it is done, India will be ahead of the other developed nations. For the paucity of time, I could not go in detail. Even then, I have focused on some of the key areas, and I thank at the onset the Department of Commerce and Management, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad, Telangana, India, for giving me an opportunity to interact in this international webinar. Thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. It is an enlightening talk. I just quickly summing up for 2 minutes what the honorable speaker told. He has given an emphasis on social change, that is in a change of business. He's talked lengthy about the digital transformation and its impact on the jobs in India and other countries. There is his emphasis was also equally on the skilling, reskilling, learning and unlearning, and also he's also spoken about the change in law is nature. So I could recollect this is a change is a law of life. This has been told John F. Kennedy, the former president of India, according to whom we should not look only to the past or present, because we have to also see in the future also. It is aptly said. He's also spoken about the China's laws cannot going to benefit anyway in India except certain areas, because he is the right person to speak about the work-life balance, because he was a sports person, he worked in media and also teaching. He is the right person to speak. And he's also spoken about the emerging technology like 5G. Today I got a 5G connection already, because the technology is growing, sir, because it is expectedly that all the telecom companies expect very soon it will be introduced. So they have already done that base work where the instrument, everything, the Wi-Fi router and all, they made it in a configuration 5G in Delhi. I am talking. And the machine learning also very important. He spoke about 133 million new roles. He is not telling about anything. He term is not a job anymore. It is only roles, because roles may change after 2-3 years, if sir is said right, because the skill set is changing very quickly because of the So we need to we need to, the shelf life is only 2-3 years as per the industry estimates. So we have to learn, and also a certain thing we have to unlearn the job. So we are also, adaptability is also required. Just to cover one or two things which I want to just to share with the gig economy is good or bad. It is coming. We have to, winter is coming. We have a serial in the TV. So it is coming. Whether the new millennial over is there, they don't want to take up a permanent job. They want to be a casual. It suits the gig economy people. And it's basically for India, it is an exploitation, because even our China wages is 16,600, as against we are only getting 10,500 a gig job, average job. So why the gig jobs are coming? It is a component is a part-time workers, independent contractors, freelancer. It suits the new young age people and also suits the platform economy. So it is going to take over the entire labor market in the way it is growing. So the gig jobs are paving way because of there is a cutthroat competition. Is spoken about the Uber, what is happening, the Uber drivers, Ola driver, how the exploitation is happening. They have no sick wages and all. Although the government is planning to come out in the new labor code, lot more thing to happen. In the case of US courts, Philadelphia and other US courts, they have declared the Uber drivers are their employee. Consequently, they have to bear all the wages and other things. So India is a long way to go. The digital program of the government of India is also fueling the gig economy. Basically, it is reducing the labor cost and offering a less the car services to the lesser cost. Suppose if you Ola car, you can drive 100 rupees in Delhi, in Delhi, or I'm living in Noida in Delhi, and whereas you auto people won't go. In a way, it is an exploitation. So the same way, there are unpaid internships also growing. In the case of, when we're specifically talking about the MBA students, a lot of our students are do internships. Earlier, normally they get wages and all. Now their companies are avoiding this thing, and it is basically it is a labor exploitation. And also they are waiting during the summer vacation. They know many of the business school students will be coming for internship. These are the companies, corporates are taking advantage. I want to give one the team lease survey shows, the recent survey shows in Delhi alone is contributing 5.6 lakh gig jobs or gig roles as on 31st of March 2009, as against 2.5 lakhs in Bangalore. So in a way, we are living in a digital era. Gig economy is cannot be avoided anymore. We have entering into, and I am a student of labor market. We have now entered into, not talking about the labor migration, we have now entered into the virtual labor market, which is best suited for the million. They don't know what is happening. The stability is not there. The work from home is also growing. The recent 2 days back, I read in the newspaper, even the Indian corporates are offering 10,000 rupees to their employee to set up a home office. And already the Google and Facebook, they are already providing $1,000 US for them to setting up office. With that, it is a wonderful session. We have an excellent comments coming from because we are simultaneously this program is broadcasted in a Zoom, Facebook, as well as the YouTube platform. There are 75 people are there in the YouTube and others channel also. So anyhow, I before giving the mic to Nisar Ahmed Saab, and Madam has to have her concluding remark. It is an excellent session, sir. Azaduddin Saab, you have done very well, and you have covered all the area. We are very grateful. And there is a necessity of we have to tying up each and university, because the digital education we have strength. With one business school have one strength, another business school have another strength, and really the job markets for the new MBA graduates are in a way shrinking, unless the other day I was having a conversation with my colleague. He was telling, sir, if your student don't study the digital technologies or artificial intelligence, they are not going to be placed, because every 1 or 2 years the technology obsolescence is happening. So we have to also gearing up. Our students should also recognize this, and they should gear up, tightening the belt. I wish all the best to Nisar Ahmad Saab, and taking all the pain, and Madam Sani Fatima, and our head of the department, Saab Mare Razaullah Khan, and all our faculty members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Sikandar.
the participant, they are very important. Without audience, we are the no speaker can. Thank you very much. Over to Nisar sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Sikandar sir, for nice remarks and the sum up for this one, presiding over the programs delivered by Syed Azharuddin. Before I could thank to all the participants, I would like to request all the 758 participants to watch that this one feedback form, to fill up the feedback form, which is scrolling in the chat box of YouTube and Zoom, and another one web which we are using is Facebook. That's why unless you fill up that feedback form, you will not get the certificate, because it is auto-generated certificate. Thereafter, you should not ask us. We have not received the certificate, for which we are not responsible. We are giving you open offer to you all to fill up the feedback form to get the certificate. The moment when you submit that feedback form, you will get the, this one certificate on your mail ID automatically within 2 seconds. This is how. Now, I will take this opportunity to thank Professor Azharuddin on behalf of Dean, Head of the Department, and my colleagues, also all the participants. Sir, you will be really thankful from all of us for wonderful delivery of lecture on gig job as well as work from home. You have given all thoughts, which beautiful thoughts, which were food for thought for us to take up that our future life, how to inculcate ourselves with the technology, how to develop the technology, how to learn the technology, and all. Thank you, sir, once again on behalf of all the participants, Head and Dean, Department of Commerce. And before I could hand over that mic to Sanim Fatima for concluding remarks, I would like to thank once again to Dr. Kamil Saab for his wonderful support. One day before, I was under anxiety. When I called him, he did not pick up the call, and in reply, he sent me a text. Don't be panic. At any time, in the mid 12 o'clock, I will be with you. I will settle your issue. You need not worry. That made me to go for sleep sound on that day. Because nowadays breathing problem will means much during COVID situation. If you have a breathing problem, then health people will come and pick you up to quarantine you, and that was not happen with me because of the support extended by Dr. Kamil. So I also thank the director of IMC for providing us a YouTube connection, YouTube link to our participants. Otherwise, we were not able to accommodate all the 758 participants. Once again, I thank Head, Dean, and Department of Commerce, Dr. Kamil, and Director of IMC, and the university in particular, on behalf of all of you. And thank you, one and all. And I request now the Madam Sanim Fatima to summarize that, this one, place a presidential remark.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Over to Sanim Fatima.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Yeah.
Professor Azharuddin Sahab, we express our heartfelt gratitude to you and thank you so much for enlightening us on the topics of gig workers, and especially from the students' point of view or from the employees' point of view. We are very thankful to you. You accepted our invitation and then delivered an excellent talk in this career options and learning and unlearning, and then how to skill up knowledge and skills in these times of pandemic. Thank you very much, sir. It was indeed a learning experience for all of us. thank you for accepting our invitation, and we look forward for your future association. And please do visit our university in Hyderabad after the pandemic. And over now, both the sessions were extremely good. I thank Mullah sir for inviting these speakers, eminent speakers, Professor Azad Kazmi Sahab and Professor Azaruddin Sahab, and all those involved in this webinar, Director CIT, Director INC. I extend my thanks to all of you. And then before we conclude, I thank all the participants for their participation and then giving their important feedback as well as posing questions. And of course, we could not take any questions from Professor Azaruddin after his talk. The participants can send us an email and we can share Azaruddin Saab's email on YouTube link what we have. And then you can pose your questions. Thank you one and all. So stay safe and take care of yourselves. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. I thank once again Professor Azaruddin Saab on behalf of all of us, all the participants and faculty members, deans and head. I thank each one of you on my personal behalf for attending this one-day international conference organized by us, Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad. Thank you. Thank
Let's
you.
Connect once again. All the participants, you are welcome for the future events being organized by the School of Commerce and Business Management, MANUU, Hyderabad. Thank you. Stay safe.
I hope they will attend. Thank you.
Maybe request Kamil Sahab to end.
Kamil Sahab, please.
Ji.
Thank you, Kamil Sahab. For your presence all through the event. Thank you so much.
Ji, okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. I'm just closing it.